Exactly.
And
And
this very well could be my last album. We don't know if this
oh,
is gonna be one more maybe, or maybe this is it. But as far as I'm concerned, I feel like this is the end of a
a
trilogy.
completion. Okay.
There's a world where this is probably gonna be it.
The last thing Oliver Tree posted to Instagram was him laughing, wearing a Brazilian jersey, playing soccer in the streets of Rio de Janeiro, calling himself Neymar. Hours later, he was gone. 32 years old, first time in Brazil. And the joy in that final video, genuine, unfiltered, completely him, is what makes this so hard to process. Because this is not the story of someone who saw it coming or someone who had been struggling. This is the story of a man who was in the middle of the best chapter of his life when it ended. For anyone who doesn't know Oliver Tree fully, here is what you need to understand about him. Born June 29, 1993 in Santa Cruz, California. The bowl cut, the oversized 80s fits, the scooter, the complete and total commitment to a persona that somehow never felt like just a persona, because the music underneath it was always real. He built his fan base from the ground up, through SoundCloud, through Vine, through sheer creative force. Life Goes On became a global anthem with over 464 million YouTube views. Miss You crossed 382 million. He directed his own videos, produced his own music, and set a Guinness World Record for the world's largest kick scooter because of course he did. He was one of the most original human beings to ever pick up a microphone. By 2026, Oliver had done something most artists dream about, but rarely pull off. He left the major label system entirely, launched his own label, Alien Boy Records, and in April 2026, released Love You Madly, Hate You Badly, his fourth studio album and his first fully independent record. His terms, his money, his vision from start to finish. The response was real, the momentum was there, and to celebrate it, he announced what he called the world's first world tour, over 70 shows across more than 30 countries, including a show listed in Antarctica, because of course it was. The tour launched May 30th in Mexico City. The South American leg took him through Buenos Aires on June 4th, and then Sao Paulo on June 6th. That Sao Paulo show was only the fourth date of a tour that had over 70 planned. He was just getting started, and instead of flying straight out to prepare for Europe, Oliver stayed in Brazil. That was completely in character. He was not the kind of artist who checks into a hotel room and waits for the next show. He was the kind who goes out into the city, connects with people, creates content, and turns every new experience into something worth sharing. In Brazil, he connected with a popular local content creator named IA Break, and together, they started filming what became a simple but beautiful project. An American experiencing Brazil for the very first time. What they captured over those days was Oliver Tree at his most unguarded. Genuinely curious, genuinely open, not performing for a camera, just living, and letting the camera catch it. The last full day came on Saturday, June 13th, 2026. Oliver and IA Break spent it doing the most wonderfully ordinary and extraordinary things at the same time. They played soccer in the streets, not casually, but fully committed. Oliver in a Brazilian jersey the whole time. When he scored a goal, he screamed Neymar, claiming the name of one of the greatest Brazilian players of all time during the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which was happening at that exact moment and had all of Brazil absolutely electric with football fever. The timing of that moment, Oliver Tree in a Brazilian jersey during the World Cup shouting Neymar, is the kind of detail that makes you love him even more. They rode bicycles through the city. Oliver got a touch-up on that iconic bowl cut. Imagine being the barber who touched up Oliver Tree's hair. That's a story you tell forever. They cooked together, salting a steak, doing it hands-on rather than in some fancy restaurant. They got on motorcycles and moved through the streets. And then back to the soccer field one more time, Oliver jumping with roses and a full FIFA World Cup trophy in hand. IA Break posted the footage to Instagram with the caption, Gringo 24 Horas no Brazil. American, 24 hours in Brazil. And the song playing over all of it, over the goals and the laughing and the haircut and the cooking and the city rushing past on a motorcycle, was Oliver Tree's own track, Worth Nothing. Worth Nothing, playing over the footage of his last full day on Earth. The irony of that is almost too much to carry. That video, posted Saturday evening, became Oliver Tree's final Instagram post. By the time people were watching it the next morning, he was already gone. On Sunday, June 14th, 2026, Oliver Tree was aboard a helicopter flying over Rio de Janeiro. With him were Argentine YouTuber Gaspar Prim, known online as Gatsby, along with Lucas Vignale, an Argentine director and screenwriter, and Lucas Bruto Chavez, a Brazilian music producer. Their pilot was Alexandre Souza. A second helicopter, piloted solo by Charles Marzillak, was flying in the same airspace. The two helicopters collided mid-air over the Recreio dos Bandeirantes neighborhood in Rio's western zone, above Avenida das Americas, one of the city's major thoroughfares. Both aircraft came down. One crashed directly into the parking lot of a car dealership, and the impact ignited a massive fire that spread to at least 20 electric vehicles. Emergency crews responded immediately. There were no survivors. All 6 people, Oliver Tree, Gatsby, Lucas Vignale, Lucas Bruto Chavez, Alexandre Souza, and Charles Marzillak, were killed. Brazil's National Civil Aviation Agency, ANAC, confirmed an investigation had been launched. The Center for Investigation and Prevention of Aeronautical Accidents, CENIPA, opened a formal inquiry into the cause of the collision. As of now, the exact reason the two helicopters collided has not been officially confirmed. Investigators are examining the wreckage and working through the forensic process. ANAC released a statement expressing solidarity with the families of the victims. Why Oliver was on that particular helicopter that morning has not been fully confirmed either. Given how he spent his days in Brazil, filming, creating, exploring, some reports suggested he may have been involved in additional content work requiring aerial access or travel to another part of the city. It fits everything we know about how he was moving. The full picture remains part of the ongoing investigation. When the news broke, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Fans flooded the comments on that final Instagram video with messages in English and Portuguese alike, mourning a man they had never met but somehow felt they knew completely. Because that was always the thing about Oliver Tree. His persona was theatrical and deliberately exaggerated, but the realness underneath it was always felt. Among the tributes, one stood out. Whitney Cummings, the actress and comedian who knew Oliver personally, wrote that he was one of the most talented people on earth, and that usually that level of talent comes with ego and difficult behavior. But she said Oliver was pure love. The best version of what an artist and a person can and should be. She said there was no silver lining, that the world had lost a giant, pure love. In an industry full of ego and performance and competition, the people who actually knew him are saying he was pure love. That is the legacy. IA Break, the creator who had spent all of Oliver's last day on Earth with him, filming and laughing and playing soccer and cooking, posted 5 crying emojis after the news broke. Just 5 crying emojis, because sometimes there are no words. Oliver Tree was 4 shows into a 70-plus show world tour. He had just released his first fully independent album less than 2 months before he died. He had an entire European leg ahead of him, North American dates, Australia, New Zealand, Antarctica. The whole world was waiting for him to come to them, and none of that will happen now. His songs have more than 1 billion combined views. He had nearly 20 million followers across social media. He built all of it while refusing to let the industry flatten him into something safe and predictable. He represented something real for a generation of artists and fans who felt too weird for one box and too serious for another. People who needed proof that you could be funny and emotional at the same time, that entertainment and genuine artistry don't have to be separate things. Oliver Tree understood that. He lived it every single day, and nowhere more fully than in those final days in Brazil, in a country he was visiting for the first time, wearing a Brazilian jersey, scoring goals and screaming Neymar, getting his bowl cut touched up, cooking steak in someone's kitchen, riding motorcycles through streets he had never seen before with his whole self completely present. Worth Nothing played over his last video, but everything about how he lived said the opposite. Oliver Tree Nickel, born June 29, 1993, died June 14, 2026. Santa Cruz to Rio de Janeiro, bowl cut legend, self-proclaimed Neymar, one of the most original human beings to ever do this. Rest easy. The marathon of what you built continues. Drop a comment. What Oliver Tree song or moment meant the most to you?